We're here today looking at a large ceramic sculptural mural that was produced by pioneering Alberta ceramic artist and painter Walter Drohan. And it was commissioned by John Sproul, a very significant alumnus of the University of Alberta, who was very important in the early oil industry here in Alberta. And what it is a ceramic mural made out of many pieces. What this does is it has all these different artistically represented examples of some of the major developments of life through time, from the very simplest organisms up to mammals. And the artist, Walter Drohan, he was one of the early instructors at the Alberta College of Art and Design in Calgary, and he was commissioned by John Sproul, an early alumnus of the University of Alberta, who was very important in development of the oil industry here in Alberta. And he had it in his office in Calgary, of his engineering office. And when he passed away and they shut down his office, his daughters, a number of years later, donated it to the University of Alberta. And we've worked with the Department of Earth and Atmospheric Sciences here at the university to develop a display for this work on a new connecting 15+ level between the Centennial Center for Interdisciplinary Sciences and the Earth Sciences building. And what it does is it really bridges the gap between geology, paleontology, and biology. In a sense, it's a perfect spot, the interplay between this building, which is Earth Sciences, and the other building, which has a lot of biology.
So there are 3 of these pieces that have fractures, which is problematic, so we want to put them up for exhibit. So this one here, you can see that there's actually a giant fracture right here along the edge. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm setting up this sandbox so that we can hold the plaque in place perpendicularly, and then I'll inject some adhesive to consolidate the crack. Conservators like to mix up our own adhesives rather than using store brands. That way we can control exactly what's in it, what solvent is in it, and we can make sure there are no additives that will lead it to have poor aging qualities, because if you use, say, Elmer's glue, in a couple of years it could turn yellow really quickly and brittle and lose its strength. So use a syringe and just very carefully inject the adhesive along this fracture. And allow gravity to help us in drawing it down to the crack. And one thing that we can do is tap along the crack too, and that's what I do continually as I work on this. Is originally you can hear that it's very hollow sounding, but as the adhesive starts filling in the space between the gap, you'll start hearing a much more solid ring. So once I have completed injecting this crack with adhesive, I'll let it stay for a little while and then come back and do a little bit of tapping and then continue to fill this. So it'll be a continual process until I hear that hard ring that indicates to me that, yeah, now it's stable enough and sound enough to go on exhibits. I used a little bit of gap filler just because there's quite a bit of lifting on this piece, and so we needed something to be able to fill in the space between the surface lifting off and the crack. And so I injected this piece with a little bit of Paraloid B72 with glass microballoons, and now I'm in the process of in-painting the crack so that it visually blends in a little bit, so you don't quite see it. The rule that we go by is the 6 foot 6 inches rule, so from 6 feet away you shouldn't be able to see it, but from 6 inches away, if you look really closely, you can see the fact that there's been an addition. So we're not trying to deceive anyone or disguise anyone or artificially restore this piece to its pristine original condition. We're only trying to stabilize it and then make it kind of visually reintegrate.